Okay.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Well, hello, Lindsay. Th-
Hello.
Thanks for doing this with me.
Of
Um,
course.
let's go ahead and get started. Will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so my name is Lindsay. You and I worked together previously as educators. I was with you for 6 years at the school where we taught, and then COVID hit, and I ended up leaving education, and I went back to school and got my degree in opticianry. So now I'm a licensed optician. I am in the Charlotte area, so usually what do we do, like every 3 weeks or so,
Yeah.
just to kind of check in. And I knew that something was always a little different in my brain, just with how I would bounce around and, have three different conversations at once. And it was always so funny because you and I would be able to communicate like that, and we'd be able to pick up exactly where we left off with like every conversation. So I think both of us kind of knew like our brains are different, but we like had a common ground of that, which was really cool.
Correct. Yes.
So now at 32, I actually got diagnosed over the summer with ADHD, and started, a medical regimen of, taking medication daily, not every single day, but just kind of as needed. If I've got a super busy day, on days off, I tend to not because I kind of am using the tools that you have taught me to kind of self regulate a little more. But overall, just kind of getting into life with a later diagnosis and changing a career. So it was a lot. It was a
Yeah,
lot.
we have a lot in common.
We did.
Who would
We
have
do.
thought,
Right?
when you left teaching, I was like, wow, good for her.
Yeah,
And then look where we are now. Just living that late diagnosed
that's right.
career lives. I love that. Okay, so before we started working together, it's probably about
Hmm.
April, when I
Yep.
began this, finished my ADHD course in about mid-March and then
Right.
started putting it out there. And
Right.
so before we started to work together, what was your mood or your mindset towards life and work? Where was Lindsay at?
I would say that I was kind of a little all over the place. I had to constantly find something to just keep my mind busy. So whether that was taking work home that I didn't necessarily have to do, but I was like, oh, it's just easier to complete it at home because I don't have the noise at work. I can bring it home and do it in my space.
Yeah.
So I think it was just a more so a mindset of I have to constantly be doing something, or I feel like I am not doing what I should be. So it was just kind of, I wouldn't even say fight or flight. It's just a constant noise that was always in the background of my mind. And, whether it was cleaning, whether it was doing work, doing laundry, making sure that my animals had everything. Oh my gosh, I've got to wash their blankets 2 and 3 times a week, all these kinds of things, just making sure that I had something to do. It
Right.
was almost just constantly in overdrive.
Correct. Yep. I know the feeling well. Okay. So, when you saw my post and
Hmm.
looking and just even after that, was there, and it's okay, be honest, was there anything like at first that maybe was holding you back or like you maybe weren't sure about like what I was doing or if you wanted to do it or things about coaching that you weren't sure about or didn't know?
I think it was more so of the unknown of what that actually looked like. Like, am I going to be handed a sheet that says I have to do this day by day by day? Or is it like a weekly outline, a monthly outline? So I think that was just more of my reservation with it was, oh my gosh, am I going to have the time, you know, to commit to doing all the things that we talk about? But in reality, that's not how it is at all.
Right. And
you
that
know, it's
thank you for saying that because
yeah, that's not how it is at all. It's more so a thing of, hey, this is how I feel. How can we break that apart and make those goals more achievable in a day by day aspect? So it
right.
might not even be something that I'm going to do immediately right now, but it's something that we're going to work towards because if I can do A, B, C, and D, I can get to X, Y, and Z a lot easier because everything else is in order.
Right. And I think as we work together, different, assignments or
Hmm.
ideas have shifted and I think a lot of people don't understand that coaching is more like a partnership. I'm not
Correct.
telling you what to do. I'm giving you like suggestions of things to try from
Right.
personal experience plus like things that you share with me. And then also, I want people to know that coaching is not therapy. I'm not a doctor.
Right.
I'm not a therapist. So
Right.
I think some people might be afraid of that, whether they've gone to therapy or not. They're like, oh, I don't
Right.
want a
Right.
therapist. I'm not one. I have one, but I am not one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and it's a cool thing too, because that aspect of it is not, like you said, it's not what you do, but it's also not why I'm sitting with you. Like I'm sitting with you because I had a hard time regulating not having a list. So, with not having a list, okay, well, how can I learn how to just chill out and just calm down? How
Right.
can I figure out a nighttime routine that is going to help me to, calm down at night and actually be able to sleep? How am I going to be able to get myself in a routine that allows me to take time for myself before I have to go into work, help a ton of people all day, and then come home and decompress? So those are really the things that you and I have kind of talked about
Right.
even, before I ended up getting diagnosed. Because, I was on anxiety meds for a while because that's what they thought it was. They're like, "Oh, you're just anxious." Yeah, that's why your mind's busy. And I'm like, okay. But then I started having those freakouts and just like really bad night sweats. And I was like, I don't feel like this is normal. And so we kind of
Right.
talked through that too. And you helped me figure out a way to present that to my doctor when I went for, my yearly, to be like, hey, something just is not right. What
Yeah.
else could this be?
Yeah, and I
So,
think too, you and other people are almost like anxious or afraid to talk to
mhm,
their doctor about what's going on with themselves, or you just
right.
almost forget to say everything you want to say, or yeah, you almost go into like fight or flight in the doctor's office. Yeah.
Right. And you're like, oh,
So,
okay, yeah, maybe that's all that it is, because you don't want to give pushback. But in reality, it's not pushback. It's just you learning how to be an advocate for yourself. And I think that's probably been one of the biggest things through all of this, is just how to really advocate for yourself. And it's okay to do that. It doesn't mean that
yeah.
you're stepping on, a professional's toes. You're trying to figure out how you can live your life the best way possible.
Well said. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, good. I love that. Okay, so you answered those questions to me. Okay, so you said a few of them, but what are three things or maybe an
Mhm.
overall that you've learned from our time together that's made the biggest impact on your life? And maybe like the results you've seen or gained personally, professionally, however you want to answer that.
I know one thing would be that I've realized that it's okay to not put on that face of like being okay all the time.
Are you referring to masking?
Right. Yes, absolutely. I felt like I always had to be that person that was okay and happy and good. And even if it felt like my brain was screaming all day, every day of like 5 million things that I had to do on a to-do list, I still had to show up and be like, okay, yeah, let's do it. We're going to be great. Yada, like all of those things. And I feel like, through the insight timer, through, just the list of goals that I've wanted to do for myself that we've kind of talked about, I feel like I've been able to really hone in on those things that might be a little more overstimulating and kind of be like, okay, let me take a step back. Let me kind of get myself together. And it's okay if I have that 3 seconds at work to just go to the back and get a sip of water. It's okay if I need to go and do a reset. If
Yeah.
I'm at home and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've
Yep.
got a load of laundry to do, I've got this to do, I've got that to do. It's okay to kind of prioritize. And I think that's what has been the biggest thing, is just realizing it's okay if I can't get it all done in one day, and
Right.
also how to prioritize. It used to be that if I was working on something, I would hyper focus on it and I would finish it until I was done. But now I've been able to be like, oh, that's not what I need to worry about right now. I've been able to break away and really prioritize. And I think that's been the biggest thing that everyone has kind of noticed at work too. They're like, yeah, you're able to break away and go and do what we need to do. Let's focus on patients. Let's focus on this. And I can put all the paperwork and all the administrative stuff to the side. So I think that has been the biggest thing, is just professionally being able to break away and be more productive, not only numbers wise, but also, leading a team accordingly with, hey, this is what we can prioritize because I can help you with patients. We can do the paperwork later kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. So you're leading by example, which is
Hmm.
helpful too. Right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I love that. That's amazing. And then what do you think about, you mentioned a little bit, what do you think about like in your home life and
Hmm.
then your husband, your dog, like being maybe that calmer version of yourself? Have like your family members noticed or, the hubby, like how has that changed
Yes.
a little bit for the
And that's
better?
been pretty cool to see too. He's like, oh my gosh, like, he's like, I can tell when you're on your medicine and when you're not. And I'm like, yep, me too. Because I'll walk into a room and be like, wait, hang on. What I come in here for? And but when I am fully focused, it's like, oh yeah, I need to do X, Y, and Z. We're gonna do this. I'm gonna do this first and then this and then this. Like now, before I started with you, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna start my load of laundry so that that's going while we're doing this. And when we're finished, I can put that other load over. So I feel like he's noticed more of like a calm when I come home, especially, he's like, you just don't seem as like stressed out, which is good.
Yeah.
I've been trying to do better about leaving work at work. This time of year is always crazy just
Right.
because everyone, is coming in to use their benefits before the end of the year. So this time of year is a
Sure.
little harder. But overall, I feel like ever since we've kind of started, he's been like, I can tell that you're trying to let more of that go and, you're not trying to sweat the small stuff how it was before.
Good. Yeah, and that takes a little pressure off of him too.
Right? Yeah,
Yeah, so
exactly.
that's good. Overall, and I know your dog feels it too.
Exactly, exactly.
I love it. Okay. So when you think, if you don't mind, when we talk about
Hmm.
like your goal setting, I have your list in front of me,
Hmm.
and you met two of those really big goals.
Yes.
Are you comfortable saying like your store
Sure.
one and your
Yeah. So,
your for you?
yeah, so store wise, we all worked extremely hard this year. So we've actually made history. I think they said it's like been 15 years since our store has hit the amount that we've hit. So, and we're
Wow.
not even to the end of the year yet. So we are very, very excited about that. And then my goal was, even if it was just for one day, to be our number one in sales for the whole year. And I was able to meet that. And I'm still holding strong onto that a week later.
I
So
love
I'm
that.
very excited and very proud. We're really grateful for everyone that we get to see that walks into our door and, that trusts us to help them with their vision needs. So we're very, very thankful for that. And then I'm also super excited to say that I officially got my email and my pre-onboarding stuff to be an instructor at the community college where I actually got my degree from for opticianry. So all of that just came through yesterday. So I was able to start all of that. So that was extremely exciting to be
Okay.
able to, keep learning and give back to the program that helped me to fall in love with my career all over again. So very, very excited for that and to see where that goes. So
I love that. So
yeah,
those are the three big check marks.
yes,
So
yes,
that made me happy. And then you did say you wanted to find time for meditation and centering every day, and I feel like you're
yes.
really doing that, whether it be if it's morning, if it's noon, if it's before you go to
Hmm.
bed, as long as you're doing it at least once a day. I mean, I feel like that's
Yes,
important because it's better than never doing it because
absolutely.
that's where I used to
Absolutely.
be too.
Yeah. And it's hard to find that time, but like you said, even if it's just a couple minutes, especially with Insight Timer having those quick ones, or if I know that I'm going to be stuck in traffic for a little longer on my way, and it's like, oh, maybe I can find, like a podcast or, something to listen to just to kind of help
Yep.
get in that mindset before I go in or even on my way home.
Yep.
There's no set time that I have to do it as long as you're taking that time for yourself.
And
So,
that's a big difference for you, I know, because you're like, "Ooh, look
yes,
at me being flexible and
yes,
trying new things." Okay.
absolutely.
Um, and as for, I know you were almost done the last time we met, the stress less in 10 days.
I'm
Almost.
on day 10. So I'm
Yay!
finishing it up. Yes, I'm almost done.
Great.
That's been really cool too, just to kind of break everything down and for it to go through the scopes that it does. So just kind of breaking everything down and making you take a second to reflect on what that initial thought is, and then, ooh, why am I having that thought? Is it coming from a place of where I'm not projecting, but I'm expecting what I would do in a situation versus how the individual might respond back and how I can not stress over that. So
Love that.
it's been very
And
good.
just for everyone else, the I have my ADHD coaching certification, but I have a second one in emotional
Hmm.
intelligence, and that is a program that was created through that. And Lindsay is trying it out, and she's up to day 10. So that makes me happy to know that it is working. So shout out
Yes.
Dr. Lori and the eMind
Yeah.
Wellness crew because it is great. And then the best part is that you can do it again whenever you want to, or
Absolutely.
use one of the days and one of the lessons
Right.
with it to help you. Okay, awesome. Love all these goals. And you said too, you've been able to like, you've been enjoying your time like on the treadmill. So doing,
Yes.
you even inspired me. I set my treadmill back up, and the past 2 out of 3 mornings I was on it. I was like, okay, this is what Lindsay likes to
Yes.
do. So
Yes.
see, that's why coaching is like a partnership, you know,
It
we
really
help
is.
you help each other out because I like to see,
Absolutely.
your success, and I'm like, go girl. And that makes me motivated too. So I love that. Okay. So, a couple more questions and then we'll let you enjoy your minimal days off that you do get.
Right.
When you think about like the types of people that would benefit from coaching,
Mhm.
ADHD coaching, emotional regulation, and intelligence coaching, like who do you think out there would benefit from something like something like this with me?
I honestly think that anyone can find a way for it to be beneficial. Like for me, I am in a field where I see tons of people every single day. So you'll have very different personalities, very different interactions, very different situations.
Yeah,
And sometimes you do carry some of that home. Whether it be a not so great interaction that you have with a patient or, just overall, oh my gosh, I've got to get X, Y, and Z done.
yeah,
Sometimes it's time management. Sometimes it can be, you know, I know that something's different in my brain and I just don't know what it is. I think we kind of grow up in a time now where everyone kind of labels anything and everything as ADHD, like as a band-aid, like, oh, you've got it, you've got it, you've got it. And it's like, no, there's so much more to it.
yeah,
And a lot of other things come out because of the way that our brains are different. Whether it be the anxiety, whether it be, the tension that we carry or anything like that. So I think that anyone that is, potentially in a high stress job like education, would have a great, great time to sit down with you and just say, how can I balance all of this? How can I balance grading? How can I balance bringing things home? Parents, students, all the
right,
weight that, we carry in the classroom. If
right,
someone has a child that they think, has ADHD, how can they help them develop and grow and not constantly hear, okay, sit down, be still, calm down.
right.
I think that you really are in a great field that even though, yes, you do have that background in ADHD, I think that anyone would be able to sit, and have those conversations with you and just kind of decompress and figure out how can I achieve what I want to achieve. My husband sat down and, really enjoyed, sitting with you and talking and, hey, I've got this going on with grad school. I have this going on with work. What do we think and how do you think I can kind of turn my day into
Yeah,
here's my 8 to 5 and then here's my 6 to 9 or six to
yep,
10 whenever I'm doing schoolwork. Where
yeah,
can I find some breaks in between just to get up and do a brain break? So,
yeah.
what are some good things I can do? Like the shake board that we got. That's been
Oh
amazing
yeah,
for both
the
of us.
vibration plate. Yeah, you
Yeah,
got.
that's been
That's right.
amazing.
Good.
He's working from home and then doing school, he's going and kind of doing that as a brain break too, just to kind of reset. So those
Hmm.
are all really good things. So I really think that anybody
Yeah.
could benefit.
And his job is very different than yours. So,
100%. Yes.
and he's very busy, and that's like one thing. Like when it comes to like, and I'm not just I'm saying it, of course, because it's my business. But a lot of people say like, oh, I don't have time. Well,
Hmm.
what's the cost of not making time to take care of
Correct.
yourself, for your job, for your family? Like everybody
Correct.
has time. Like there's
Right.
a little bit of time. And really, like you said, it's the thing is like flexible. We see each other about
Hmm.
every 3 weeks, or if it's a
Hmm.
has to be a month, or
Yeah.
and the time really that's what works for you. Like that's what I try to
Right.
tell people. Like, and I'm flexible in the sense where like I don't want it to, oh, you can only come at these times. Well, whatever works
Correct.
for people. I'm not trying to
Yep.
stress people out more. Yes, and then you don't, 'cause,
Exactly.
right, when you started with me, you didn't know you had ADHD. And
No.
so that's the thing. That's because like as a life coach, I have that. And then the emotional intelligence piece helps with
Hmm.
anxiety and stress management. And then when you tie them
Right.
all together, yeah, so it doesn't have to be, and you can be a grown woman, grown man, or yes, the parents
Right.
and the kids, because you know, as a teacher, no one taught you how to deal with children with ADHD.
Mm-mm.
Never, not a day. And they don't really help the parents. And so that's
Right.
another whole other thing that I know you understand. So,
And it was more so like a trial and error thing too, with the things that would work and what wouldn't. And that was really great too, because I mean, we both know there's no one size fits all. And I
no,
think that's what makes what you do so great, because you would have a ton of different resources,
yeah,
but you actually individualize it to the person that you're working with. So because you and I do know each other, that is something that you're like, oh yeah, I know that she could benefit from this because of what we've talked about, but you also don't show me everything because that probably wouldn't work for me. So it's a
correct.
very
Yeah.
individualized way that you go about it too as you go through. So like whenever we did the first like freebie call,
Yep.
you were like, what do you need from me? And we had that conversation of I was very honest, like, I don't know. I don't know, but I know that
Yeah.
this is going to be something that's good for me because you are going to be a really great and honest soundboard of what I probably need to do, but I might not see it because
Ye-
my brain is so bogged down with, oh, I just
Sure.
need to get through it. I just need to get through it.
Yeah, you can't see it, you don't want to see it, like, yeah,
Right.
whatever it might be, or you're just not in the place to see it. Yeah.
Right.
And that's and I think too, like I wish as a kid, as a teen, a teen in my 20s,
Mm-hmm.
my 30s, like I didn't get diagnosed until I was 41.
Right.
So I'm just like, ooh, I want to help people because I know this would have helped me or explain
For sure.
XYZ and all of that. And I like to think of it too as like not just paying for it. It is an
Mm-hmm.
investment. Coaching is an investment into your future, into your job, into your relationships, and just
100%.
like you said, being able to speak to the doctors. And I just went yesterday for my in person where they check the vitals and
Right.
your blood pressure and just check in with you and the monthly calls. Like it's important, whatever, and then
Absolutely.
all the other appointments that we have to go to. But
Right.
being aware of what's going on in your body, I think that's
Oh, yeah.
great. No, and that's true. Like what you said, for everyone listening, as I call it the reset call because it's free. Like you're just going to talk to me, and if it's not the time, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think I'm the right person for you, that's okay. But it's 30 minutes to just talk to me and see maybe I can send you in the right direction or I can send you in
Right.
my direction. Yeah, and like no, I don't want people to feel like pressured, but I do have a lot of strategies, and I love helping
Right.
people, and I feel like because I'm not like I don't know, I play like a different role. Depends on what you're looking for. Like, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm again not a therapist, but coaching, I'm here to help and be by your side. And it's nice to, especially when it comes to ADHD, almost like the body double thing, like having
Yep.
someone to like keep you accountable, or like you picture me in your head, like, oh, take a breath or
Like,
take a sip of
what
water,
Kath
or
told me to do? What she
yeah,
told me to do?
right. One of those little like expressions, or like, just sending articles and things like that. Like that's I'm forever going to be a teacher,
Oh, yeah.
and then also a little bit of humor. Gosh, do I like to make people laugh too? So expect that if you like to crack jokes a little, lighten the mood. But no, that's great. So is there anything else that you'd like to add, or any other successes, or anything else you want to tell the audience?
I would say if you're on the fence about it or even just curious, just dive in and do it. As soon as I saw it, I literally showed the phone to Mac and was like, "Oh my God, I have to do this." And he looks at me and he goes, "What do you mean?" And I said, "Katie just left teaching and she's doing what she really wants to do. Like, I've got to do this."
You felt called to do it,
I,
right?
I
Yeah.
I really did, yeah, because I knew where my mindset was at the time, and I was like, I don't want to get burned out. I don't want to, I'm only 32. I don't want to get in that rut where you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do?
Right.
I'm just working. I'm literally just working. I
Right.
didn't want to literally just work my life away. And
Right.
I feel like that's just kind of the reset. And I know you, and I know you as a person, and I know that you wouldn't guide me in a direction that is going to make me feel worse. You're only going to make me want to feel better and be
Right.
helpful.
Yeah.
So I knew that I had to do it. So if anybody
Love
out there, if you are hesitating to do it, I say just take the leap of faith and just do it, because there's nothing bad that can come out of it. It can only
Right.
help you to reflect and grow as an individual. And I think that's what we all should do. We should never stop learning. We should never stop growing. Of course, there's a time when you do kind of plateau, but that plateau should only come when you're ready for it, not because you're bogged down with life and work. So definitely do it. I think everybody should do it. Yeah,
Thank you. Very, very well said. I appreciate that. Yeah. And two, like whether it be the free session, 1, 3, 6, 12, whatever it is, like that's what I think too. Like
exactly.
give it a try, and go from there. And teachers, if you're listening, I always give a teacher discount forever. Love my teachers. So, and I know they don't pay you enough. So that's my little
Yeah,
pitch there to my teachers, but teachers, parents, everybody. Well, thank you, Lindsay. I appreciate
of
you so
course.
much.
Of
And for
course.
everyone else, if you're looking for me, I'm on Instagram at Life Coach Kath, and my business is called Coach by Kath LLC. And the reset call is free. It's in all of my bios, and I'm here for you if you need me. So thank you, Lindsay. I
Of
really, really
course.
appreciate you, and everyone else. I'm here for you. So you have a great day off, and
Yes, ma'am.
I will talk to you soon.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.